Kapow, kapow, kapow. We are back, baby, with another reflection on the Daily Vedantic. And if this is your first exposure to the Daily Vedantic, I apologize for the last 7 seconds. But we're bringing cheer and joy everywhere we go around cheer. So today's reflection is on something that I've been thinking about a lot lately. And that is our cultural misconception around patience. One of my favorite mentors in the world is a business mentor, and his name's Jeff Jordan. He's maybe the best venture capitalist of the last 10 years, on the board of Airbnb and Pinterest and Instacart, just a bunch of amazing companies that have all been built in the last decade that he helped craft and invest in early and then helped guide. And it is not a coincidence that he is exceptionally kind, brilliant, patient, and successful. He's all of those things. And one of the things that he told me was about a decade ago. He was on the board of my company before, my current one, and he said that his superpower, this is kind of like in passing as we're waiting for the boardroom to clear out and we were going to go have one of our board meetings. And he said, one of my superpowers is I can get over anything in 24 hours. I don't remember the context. I don't remember what was said before. Definitely don't remember much of what was said after. But hearing him say that he can get over just about anything in 24 hours stuck with me. What a superpower. But the thing is, once he told me that, I relayed it to my wife, Cheney, and later that day. And I started to think about how long it takes me to get over something, anything. Something even seemingly catastrophic. Jeff had lost his father early on in his life, in his teens, and maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe experiencing what you would think is the worst, that maybe you don't know if you can get through it, being able to get through something like that. And in my conversations with him, knowing that he came through it stronger. It's called post-traumatic growth instead of just post-traumatic stress. It was a common bond between us because I had lost my sister when I was 15. And I remember being able to laugh at something 24 hours later. Specifically, late night with Conan O'Brien with my brothers after our sister had passed. I remember thinking that next day, will I ever laugh again? And then some silly joke on TV made us all laugh. I don't know if I can get over anything in 24 hours, but I do remember after he said that to me, I was about 26 or 27 years old, and I came to some kind of conclusion that, yeah, I think I can get over about anything in 72 hours. In 3 days. Not fully over it, not fully process, but for the most part, return to form like a Stretch Armstrong that has been stretched in some unnatural way. Get back to form with a predictable regularity of about 3 days. Our culture's misconception with patience is we think that patience is waiting. Patience is not waiting. Patience is trust. It is humility. It is faith. But it's not waiting. What do I mean by that? Patience quite literally comes from the word to suffer. It has very little to do with waiting. because we are waiting for things all the time. Someone that can be quite impatient still needs to wait for a flight, for a package, for an appointment. We all wait, but very few of us are patient. Patience is trust. Trusting that things will happen in the right way. Patience is humility, knowing that I don't know exactly what to do. So maybe I don't need to do something. What I might try to do could sabotage what I am trying to be patient about. And it's faith. Faith that, well, whatever should happen, whatever is meant to happen, will happen. Faith as defined by Swami, which I've heard him say this over 100 times in various lectures, is faith is the bird that feels the light and sings while the dawn is still dark. It's a quote by Rabindranath Tagore, and it's such a beautiful image. The bird that sings because they feel the light while the dawn is still dark. Faith is not hope. It's not hoping for what you desire. Faith is an understanding that light comes after. Faith is an understanding that light comes at dawn. To think that patience is waiting, well, it only takes a few seconds to imagine the person that has to wait for test results, for the bus, for the phone call, that has to wait and does it impatiently. This story of Jeff Jordan saying that he can get over anything in 24 hours, that is a story of patience. That's an example of suffering well, suffering with trust that after a little bit, not trying to escape it, not going for 5 drinks that then prolongs the suffering, trying to numb it out, creating some other distortion in our perceptions of the world to try to distract us from pain, but sitting with it and knowing that after a while, it'll clear. Faith that this is how it works. Sit with it and it goes away. And humility, this thought that if I tried to counteract this, could make it so much worse. Another visual that I think about quite often is this visual of a poem that we study in the course with the ashram, where it's a poem of 2 hermits tending to these olive trees, realizing that they need oil for their prayers, and each one plants an olive tree. The first hermit prays for water, then prays for sun, then prays for more water, then prays for sun, prays for there not to be any cold, inclement weather, and the other hermit simply plants the seeds. The one that thinks that they need to be in total control. They need to pray for the water and the sun. They need to protect it from any inclement weather. That olive tree dies. And the hermit that just plants the seeds and kind of says, "Thy will be done," to the universe, to the tree, to the seeds, to his own desire for the oil for prayer. His tree thrives. I know this from the startup world, that when you obsess over something, when you cling to it, when you can't trust other people with it, you sabotage it. You suffocate the oxygen for it to grow properly. Other people don't want to work alongside you because You clearly don't trust them. You're in their shorts, micromanaging them. And before you know it, you are obsessing even more because your tiny little olive tree is dying. And you think you need to pray harder for more sun, more water. But the hermit that had trust and humility, this is a big part of patience. Humility of knowing, I actually, and maybe it's through killing a couple olive trees. For me, it was through killing a couple startups. Recognizing, holy shit, I really don't know what's best. And I don't even know if this needs to exist. But I'm going to put in my effort and I'm going to go with the natural order of things instead of trying to overcome or submit the natural order of things through sheer willpower or desire. I have seen the former kill companies 6 years in, and I've seen the latter create the conditions for companies to thrive to tens of millions in revenue without breaking a sweat. Quite literally, just one was worrying constantly in my 20s. And then Magic Mind, the drink company that I run with my co-founder, William, has felt like the second hermit that just planted some seeds and this huge olive tree bursted forth. A big part of patience is also understanding that you will be okay in either scenario. No matter how that phone call goes, that interview, the meeting, the doctor's appointment. And that's what this philosophy provides in spades over and over and over again, is this rational approach to you will be okay in any scenario. It's both the message, it is the practice, it is the method to reinforce that I will be okay in any scenario. However this phone call goes, however this scenario in my life goes that I'm waiting for. Whatever happens, I'll be okay. That's what this philosophy provides. That's what also life experience can provide, where you have suffered and turned out better afterwards. That post-traumatic growth, sometimes growth that only suffering can provide. That is understanding that can provide endless patience for things that younger you may have lost nights and nights of sleep over. Patience is not waiting. It is trust. It is humility. It is faith. It is understanding. That's how you suffer well, is through trust, humility, faith, and understanding. But it is not waiting. And that's today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you next time.